Check, check. Check. Good evening. My name is Chris Harvey, Public Information Officer on the Border 2 incident. Thank you for joining us tonight for our live chat virtual community meeting. We are here tonight to make sure and present the latest and most accurate information regarding the Border 2 incident. We've assembled a team of personnel assigned to the fire who are here to answer your questions. We will start with a short briefing from each member, and I'm going to start with the latest numbers from the fire. We are currently at 6,625 acres, 55% containment, with 2,666 personnel. Our first briefing tonight will be from our fire operations, Patrick Walker.
Good evening, Patrick Walker, Operations Section Chief on the Border 2 incident. I'm also the Area Battalion Chief for Cal Fire, San Diego County Fire that covers this area. And I live in the community of Jamul, so this is very unique and important to me what's going on here. And I appreciate all the hard work of all of our cooperators in our community being patient with us. So we look at the fire, and I'll break it northeast, southwest. On the north side, communities of Jamul, Dulzura were originally, could have been impacted. That is completely not a factor anymore. A lot of work's been done where fire's completely out around here along Otay Lakes Road. Just a reminder for our firefighters, or for our folks, because our firefighters are out there. If you do come through here for any means, I know we've opened it up to residents. Please drive slower than you usually would. Watch out for the firefighters, fire engines on the road, etc. That's very important. We continue to work up off of Minnewawa Truck Trail above Pio Pico. That community made some good contact in there today to help with the impacts on that. You'll see the firefighters working up there. We did have a firefighter injury today off of Minnewawa Truck Trail deep in the canyon there. And we utilized the Cal Fire, County Fire, San Diego Sheriff's helicopter, came out there, performed a successful hoist rescue. It was a minor injury. It was an ankle injury, and they'll have a full recovery. Moving around Doghouse Junction on the east side there, going to the south towards the Mexican border, same thing. It's contained. We've got hand-light construction. We got the firefighter hand crews got in there. They've done a lot of good work. They're still out there working on that. Our men and women out there have been dealing with a lot of wet weather. It's blustery out there, but they keep it positive. They keep after it, and they're doing a really spectacular job, and they're maintaining their mission tasks. So come around to this part towards Chula Vista, Otay Mesa. Same thing. We had some bulldozer work in there. We're working on that. This is wilderness, so there's some work in there that we got to be very sensitive to, but we are mitigating that fire. We've done all the appropriate measures on there to come around into Chula Vista, where we have their firefighter hand crew helping us out and all the great cooperators. That's the end of my briefing.
Thank you, Patrick. Next, we're going to hear about the incident weather from our meteorologist, Mark Luffelbein.
Good evening. When this fire started, we did have a lot of winds. Now we're starting to see those winds calm down a little bit. We've turned more over our concentration into the precipitation that has been falling over the past 48 hours. We are looking at relative humidity. That was something that was down in the single digits originally when this fire started. Now that relative humidity's been staying up around 100%. The reason why, as a meteorologist, I'm forecasting relative humidity for a fire is the higher that humidity is, that tells you how much moisture is in the air. That'll get absorbed by the fuels, make them less susceptible to burn. And that's what we've been having over the past 48 hours. A lot of humidity in the air. It's been keeping that elevated and helping that retard the fire spreading. Precipitation, of course, has been a big part of that as well. We picked up nearly an inch of rain at the Otay Mountain Raz, or that's the observation point on top of the Otay Mountain. And that's quite a bit of rain. We have a large low pressure system that made its way through the area. It's starting to exit now. On the backside of that, I do expect a little bit more rain for tomorrow afternoon, maybe another tenth of an inch, but we're just about done with the rain. Once that low pressure moves on, we're going to start drying out. I don't really have any rain in the forecast after that. Might have some rain moving into Northern California, up into Oregon. I don't think that's going to make its way all the way south here. So over the next 10 days after this system exits, I think we are going to be staying dry, but we'll have onshore flow the whole time. And with that, those relative humidities I was just talking about will stay rather elevated. I'm not expecting those to really drop much below 40% in that time frame. Also, I don't see any major wind events. We have had winds out of the southwest gusting to 15 miles per hour, but that's certainly not those really strong wind gusts that we had seen just a few days ago. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark. Our next speaker is going to be Eric Just, and he's going to discuss fire suppression repair.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Just. I'm the fire suppression repair branch director, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what that is and how that is rolled into this incident. So, during the course of the expanding incident, we have a lot of control line that's being put in, and we don't just leave it at that once the fire is contained and controlled. A team of us systematically go through the fire area, and we assess those control lines for a variety of different things. Oftentimes throughout the course of an incident, we've got fences that get cut, we get asphalt that gets crushed, and we get a lot of dirt pushed around out here that are capable of transporting water and different things like that. So what we do is we systematically go through the fire area, and we do a lot of rehab and rehabilitation work in order to control some of that water that might affect future, for the sites that are around there that are subject to flooding and different things like that. So we also just don't leave it at that. We have a team of hydrologists that take a look at the fire area as well and assess the fire area for its potential to be able to impact communities with debris flows, mudslides, and all of that. If we do come to a point where there is a potential for that, I have the capability of putting together a team of engineering hydrologists, geologists from the California Geologic Survey to come down here and actually do an in-depth review of this area. And they pretty much look at threats to life safety issues and things like that, and provide a bunch of mitigations that we can do at a later point in time to offset that issue. So there's a lot of that work going on, and this is an operation that's going to take over the course of, it's going to happen over the course of several days, but it's a necessary part of this whole fire thing. So really what I want to emphasize is once the fire is out, that doesn't necessarily mean that the work is over. We go through the area and we make sure that this place is safe from a flooding standpoint and also from just a rehabilitation standpoint. The other thing we go through and assess is maybe impacts that are associated with archaeology sites and biology issues. And so we work really closely with a lot of our other agencies that are in the area as they provide a lot of the expertise and to be able to assess that. We're working with our BLM partners. We work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We work with USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey. All of them have staff that are experts in the various, biological and habitat issues that we might come across. And then they also help with providing capabilities and different resources to assess it, and then come up with some sort of game plan to be able to rehabilitate that area. So there's a lot going on with that, and currently, the way we break this down is we look at the fire area and we kind of we put it into a couple of different sectors, and we have different groups and different crews that are utilizing heavy equipment. We have hand crews that are out there that are they're building water bars, they're knocking down, taking care of jackpots, because there's a lot of stuff that gets pushed around during the course of suppression operations. And so, the suppression folks can worry about, dealing with the fire at hand. That's where I come in a little bit after the fact, and we go through and take a look, and we go through a systematic process, and then we make sure that, that all those things are being taken care of. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and hand the mic over. Our next speaker will be Mike Gonzalez from the San Diego Sheriff's Office.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Mike Gonzalez. I'm with the San Diego Sheriff's Office. I want to go ahead and address the evacuation order that we have in place, which is going to be on the west side of grid 2543. We still have soft closures in place at Otay Lakes and West Day Road, and another one at Otay Lakes just west of Pio Pico. We're going to maintain a law enforcement presence at the Pio Pico campground. And as with all of these evacuation orders and closures, we're going to go ahead and constantly reevaluate those with with CAL FIRE and the California Highway Patrol as well. I do want to thank the brave men and women of the San Diego Sheriff's Office, CAL FIRE, and the CHP who've been working this incident 24 hours a day since Thursday, and they're going to continue that great work until this incident is completely wrapped up. I also want to thank our resilient communities that were affected by this fire and the generosity of the overall community. We've had a lot of people stop by asking how they can help and what they're able to donate. I want to encourage everybody to download the Genesis Protect app and the Alert San Diego app so they can have the most updated information, and you'll be prepared if there's ever an emergency again. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Our next speaker tonight is going to be Mila Barker from the San Diego County Office of Emergency Services.
Thank you, and good evening to everyone here in the room and also our audience online. My name is Mila Barker, and I'm an Emergency Services Coordinator with the County of San Diego Office of Emergency Services. The County of San Diego Office of Emergency Services activated our Emergency Operations Center in order to support CAL FIRE and Sheriff in the evacuation and repopulation process. We coordinated with the American Red Cross and Animal Services to provide resources to address basic and unmet needs, requests to the public for over 90 residents in the form of general shelter and also shelters for small and large animals. And I believe there are a little bit over 20 small and large animals in those shelters. We also communicated with the public through Alert San Diego platform. We also work to amplify our partners' information through our public-facing app map, social media channels that includes Instagram and X, regarding containment, acreage status, road closures, etc. We definitely encourage the public to please subscribe to the Alert San Diego, our opt-in public messaging platform, and download the Genesis Protect app to stay up to date on updates and evacuation information. We also encourage you to follow our Instagram at Alert San Diego, our X account at Alert San Diego, and Ready San Diego on Facebook, as well as CAL FIRE San Diego and County of San Diego Sheriff X pages for public safety updates and information. I also want to extend a very big thank you to all of the cooperators and the residents that were impacted by this. Everyone was super patient, and we're just happy that everyone's safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mila. Our next speaker is going to be Rick Johnson, one of the incident commanders.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us tonight. My name is Rick Johnson. I'm one of the incident commanders for the Border 2 incident. So as you heard tonight with all of our partners and our cooperators here of all the amazing work, over 2,000 firefighters were on this incident. from anywhere from suppressing the fires to repopulating the folks back into their homes. And really a special thanks to the San Diego Sheriffs for all the amazing work that they were able to do to get the people out during the evacuations as well as to repopulate them back. As you can see on the fire here, it's a very rugged, steep terrains where we're actually sitting. It's taken over 2 hours to hike some of our crews in there. So that's why we talked a little bit about the containment stuff like that. It's taken a long time just because of the access to be able to get into the fire. The fire never did make it into Mexico. Is over a mile and a half into there. However, we're in communications on a daily basis, briefing the Mexico firefighters. Other than that, that's it for now.
All right, thank you. We have some questions now from operations. If you could hand the mic to operations. Patrick Walker is going to answer some questions from our viewers regarding operations.
Thank you. The first question is, what's the current priority now that residents are back in their homes? So we have multiple priorities, but our current priority now that the residents are back in the home is to ensure 100% containment on this fire, and that all the hot spots are out, that it's safe, and that we leave that land, like we talked with Chief Just there, as good, if not better, than we found it. That's going to take a lot as firefighters. There's a lot of things we need to do to get this fire out, a lot of tactics we have to use. From firing operations, that's where you put fire on the ground, but we didn't have to do that on this one, using bulldozers, et cetera. And this is wilderness. I often tell the firefighters I work with is when it comes to firefighting in the wildland, my son or daughter may put this fire out, or their son and daughter will probably put this fire out, but whatever we do to that land is going to stay there for eternity. So we need to be respectful of that. Obviously, if there's structures threaten lives at risk, we're going to get after it. The other priority we're looking at for as firefighters is most of the firefighters on this fire were already at other fires in Los Angeles County. They have not had days off since. So we are looking at getting them relief and getting them home. Some of them are from out of state, definitely out of the county, all over Cal Fire. It's not just Cal Fire out here. We have firefighters from all over California, all over Southwest United States, federal, et cetera, partners helping us. So that's the priority, but it does come back to public safety. That's the business that we're in, and we'll make sure that's safe for the public. And then we're going to get our folks home. We'll always have a footprint here with Cal Fire, San Diego County Fire, the sheriffs, our cooperators, Fish and Wildlife, Bureau of Land Management, to make sure that we maintain that, as well as probably the one folks we left out of here is the Border Patrol, who the United States Border Patrol is in constant contact with us out there, providing a good presence out there, doing their job. Second question I have is, has the rain helped the firefighters? Yes, Mother Nature happens to be the best firefighter there is. So having that moisture coming in there, all the rain, that is helping us immensely. It's speeding up the process and mopping it up. Like Chief Johnson was saying, it's taken over 2 hours to get into there. That's a day. We're going in there every day and night, 2-hour hikes to get in there. It's a 2-hour hike in, it's a 4-hour hike out with all their gear, probably about 100 pounds. That's fuel, chainsaws, shovels, everything they're going to need, medical gear, food, water. Sometimes we have to send, you'll see the helicopters bring out water and drink or lunches, and they'll actually fly them into them and drop them off. So on one regard, yes, the rain has absolutely helped the firefighters, but it does make our job a little bit more difficult, but we don't deal with the heat stress as much, but it definitely puts that fire out. We've had multiple bands of rain come through on that fire. We've had firefighters getting hail on them up at the 3,000 foot level towards the peak, but they're out there, they're resilient, they keep doing the job, and they're going to move through. We're going to get this mission accomplished. We're almost there. Like I talked in our briefing this morning, we've turned the corner on this fire, and now we're going to land the plane. We're going to get it done. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you, Patrick. We have some additional questions for our law enforcement. Mike Gonzalez.
Thank you. All right, folks, we had a couple of great questions about road safety in the area, even though the roads are open. And suspicious activity or other crimes, looting that maybe have occurred or the possibility for it in those areas that were evacuated. First and foremost, law enforcement's mission in this is to support fire, and human safety is always going to take priority. We yesterday I had addressed in the briefing that if you see something suspicious, if you observe an unsafe road condition or an environmental hazard, call 911 and we'll send somebody out there to evaluate the situation. As far as driving in those roads, right now there is a lot of activity that's still going on. The fire apparatus is, these are very large vehicles. We have utility vehicles out there. We have folks that are walking around. Some of those vehicles may not have the emergency signaling equipment, such as red and blue lights or amber colored lights on there. And so if you don't have to drive in the affected area, please stay out of it, especially at nighttime and especially if it's going to be raining. The other question I received, are there any schools that are closed? I don't have any knowledge of any school districts sending out any closures.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate that. We do have some final questions that have been asked in the chat. These are also some of our frequently asked questions, and these are going to be answered by a member of the Incident Command Team, Rick Johnson.
There was a question on, are air tankers and helicopters still being used? Yes, there is. We're utilizing helicopters currently right now. There's 2 assigned to the incident. However, at peak, there was over 17 airplanes that drop retardant and 20 helicopters that were actually assigned to the incident, including night flying helicopters. Another question was, did we lose any structures? No, we did not lose any structures, and that is a positive thing. That actually helped us with the prepositions of our assets, including our fire engines. Over 50 fire engines came in when CAL FIRE started to realize that we had a offshore wind coming in. So we started prepositioning resources, our fire trucks, our fire dozers, our helicopters, our planes, our hand crews. They all came down here to be able to mitigate incidences in a quickly fashion. Another question. Will this rain help reduce the current fire dangers throughout the county? Well, Chief Walker talked a little bit about that, but we're in Southern California. We always need to be vigilant. We always need to have that mindset of a ready, set, go, as well as we're not really out of the woods yet. Until the hills turn green, and the fuel moistures come up. Right now, we're sitting at 60%. Fuel moistures right now, and that's measured of how much moisture is into the vegetation, the brush, and we're only at 60%. That's really critical. So we really need to get that up. We need to get the hills all green, but bottom line is we always need to be vigilant down here in Southern California, where have that ready, set, go, have a go bag. So you're ready to go. You have a place where you're able to meet your family in case there's an incident, you're able to get to that location. And also reminder, we've talked about Gens Protect the last couple of days, but really downloading Gens Protect to get those notifications if your zone, your house, or your loved ones, their zone's been changed, you're able to get that notification and know where to go.
All right. Thank you, Rick. As we close out our meeting tonight, I just wanted to give you a couple additional pieces of information. We are going to have this same community meeting tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. This will be our last virtual community meeting for this incident. So please join us again tomorrow. If there were questions that did not get answered tonight, we'll get them answered for you tomorrow. And then finally, I want to take just one moment to talk about the California Conservation Corps. The California Conservation Corps, or the Triple Cs, or the Cs as we call them here in camp, are an essential group of individuals that help us out and help our fires run. They operate out of base camp. They also operate out in the field and fight fire out there. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the fact we had 8 Triple C crews, fire crews from around the state that were here that were operating out on the fire line, doing mop up, pulling hose, cleaning up the lines, etc. And then we have 3 camp support crews here from Vista and from Pomona that are assigned to the base camp. And these are the individuals that help us by cleaning our trailers and bringing us water and helping keep the camp clean. And they're essential to the successful operation of these large fire incidents. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the Triple Cs. Again, join us at 6:30 tomorrow for our final community meeting. Thank you.